Okay, this is Trisha Bahnsen checking in for project milestone number 2. In project milestone number 1, I decided to go with Linux Mint because I felt like it was a supportive community for any of the questions I've had and things like that. So I'll start with user accounts. My main account is for me as the admin, obviously full access to the system. I did add a guest session, which doesn't require a password, but also the neat thing about this easy setup for the guest session in Linux Mint is that when the user logs in, they get a pop-up that says all data created during this guest session will be deleted when you log out and settings will be reset to default. So please save any of your files on an external device or USB stick. And I liked this because I thought if we had guests come to the house and they needed to use a computer, that they could, if they wanted to check their work email or access the internet or, something like that, I could let them use my machine without them having to know any of my information or have access to any of my files. So I really liked that there was this option for the guest session without any sort of login necessary, so I don't have to worry about changing a password or giving them a password. So I set that up for the guests that we might have. And then I also created a user profile for my boyfriend who is just a user account, so he can save his items, but he doesn't have admin access to read or write anything that I do on my system. And so that way, since we're both in the same household, he might want to do more. He might want to save something on here. He's in school also at Austin P, so, he might have files or something if he uses my machine that he wants to be able to access again later on. So anyway, but I have the admin access so that he can't, go in and change things or see all of my files and things like that. So I'll log into my system. Oops. And I think I probably should have restarted my computer before I started this. So the first thing I'm gonna do is turn on something. I set up these this sane break, so I thought that was pretty cool. And what will happen is in 4 minutes, I have it set to 4 minutes right now, but what'll happen is this runs at the background and then it's going to pop up a message every 4 minutes for me to get up. Now I plan to stretch that out to more like an hour, but sometimes I'm sitting at the desk and I need a reminder to get up and move around and things like that. So I thought that was a cool feature. We probably won't get it now because I started with the other account instead of the guest account, or I started with the guest account. But anyway, so I thought that was pretty neat. I'd like to have this on my work computer because often I sit there and forget to get up and forget to stretch and stuff like that. So that'll run in the background. If I talk long enough, maybe we will see that. The next thing I did related to security, we'll go to storage first. So the first thing I did with storage is I installed this VUP storage. And what I like about this is it's encrypted end-to-end. It's cloud storage. And so I can back up my information in the cloud with this free application. I can't find anywhere that says, oh, right here, 5 gigabytes is the limit, which is pretty small. They do have a way, if you want to pay for more storage, that you can. But I liked the fact that I could store my files away from my actual machine and also access them across other systems. It has support for Windows and Mac. And so the cross-platform I thought was really good. but there were just some really sensitive documents that I thought I might want to be able to access with a little bit more secure cloud storage than, say, Dropbox or something like that. So I went with the VUP because it seemed to be very secure with the end-to-end encryption and things like that. And then I can sync that as I go. I can schedule when I want it to sync. I can schedule what I want it to sync. So if it doesn't need to be all of my files, it can be just the most important ones, like some of our like mortgage paperwork or more sensitive documents like that, that I really want to have extra secure, but also have additional copies than just the paper copies I have downstairs in my office. And then also from an automation standpoint, I went ahead with the updates to make sure that my security is up to date at all times. I went ahead and in the update manager, you can go to the preferences here, and I actually have the automation set up to perform all of these automatically, so that I'm not missing out on anything from a security standpoint and not having any break in coverage as far as the security is concerned. That's just automatically going to happen. I don't want to have to do that manually or forget to do it or not use the machine for a little bit, and then the updates not be there. So anyway, I thought it was nice that there was the option to automate that process. So really keeping the machine secure and up to date was also really important to me. So obviously hope to build on some of these things in the next update. Let's see, we've got 14 seconds, so I'll let this show just pop up a little bit to show what this looks like. So you're just kind of working along, and then we'll get this notification that we really need to take a break and adjust our eyes and get some air. We're going to get a little alert, and then you can actually set the breaks for however long you want, and then it'll flash on the screen too. So I just thought that was a fun little feature. So that was just an extra little touch. But anyway, so that's where we're at with project milestone number 2. And so we'll check back in for the final update. Project 3, looking forward to feedback, and thanks a lot.